Proper wants to kill.
Unbelievable! As they blast the doors wide open. The San Francisco Shock, like a 2019 Overwatch League champion.
2 championship teams.
They say that once you've won a championship, you might be less hungry to win another.
Both rich in history.
A desperate effort as O2 Blast clock their second win back to back.
Whoever said lightning doesn't strike twice has never met the San Francisco Shock, your 2020 Overwatch League champions!
Bonded together.
The star power on this team is undeniable.
The absolute pantheon of this top 4. These are 2 teams who you can fairly look at and say you could want either to win it, right?
2 best teams here. Let's get into it.
Face off today.
If O2 Blast are going to win it, they've got to earn it. They've got to take all comers, prove that nobody is better than this team.
I mean, they did it all with that hunger, that belief. San Francisco has cemented themselves as the greatest team in Overwatch.
Welcome everybody to the San Francisco Shock versus O2 Blast Showmatch presented by AMPM. And yeah, I mean, some familiar faces, I hope, to some of you, if you recognize some of us. Brett and Josh here to bring you this match between these 2 teams. And yeah, this is going to be exciting, Josh.
It's going to be an absolute spectacle. I mean, that gives me chills. It means I'm anticipating the 2022 season. And what a cool show match to kick things off in a bit of a preseason content here. You've got the back-to-back Contenders champions from Korea blended into the San Francisco Shock, the back-to-back Overwatch League champions, to form that brand new San Francisco Shock roster for 2022 on Overwatch 2 5v5, and we get to see it right here for the first time.
First look, yeah, and the way it's all going to work is we're going to be playing multiple maps over the course of it. The final one is going to be 5v5 in the workshop mode, but without further ado, let's already head into the action because I know you're all tired of waiting, and here it is, O2 Blast versus the San Francisco Shock right here, right now. And if you look at the top of the screen, Josh, you'll notice that's unusual.
They're playing a GOATS comp. I love it. You're getting a little throwback for this show match, this scrim, as Super clashes early with Junbin. And there's only one way that one's going to end. Super is our greatest of all time, Reinhardt. You don't want to be clashing with him in the GOATS comp.
Yep. The Discord Orb, the little boot back, everything to set up that initial kill. Zayden's going to be falling as well. Max just caught in the corner there, getting sandwiched in between the San Francisco Shock, who are just running them over right now in GOATS. What a throwback as well. Let's take a look at some of these replays here.
Oh, Take it long.
I love it. I love the comms that we've got for the replays as well. It's so cool to see. I'm actually watching the Zarya ult charge though here. Proper, absolute beast of a player. Been picked up from O2 Blast, playing against his former team here. Has that Graviton Surge available to use. Needs to bait out the defense matrix, and in it goes.
Yeah, perfect ult. Gets placed right down. That's going to be the Transcendence used as a response. That's Hole One just trying to keep the team alive, but what's an Earth Shatter? Super! You've got to be kidding me. Knocks them all down to the ground, and that's an easy setup there for the team fight win. You can see he's quite pleased with himself in the little cam there.
Yeah, and listen, San Francisco Shock, they overlaid their support ultimates. Oh, and Proper puts Rhyme Diff in the chat. Oh, that's just brutal. A reminder that Kilo, Proper, Finn, these guys came from O2 Blast. They were part of what made this Contenders roster win those back-to-backs. So, of course, there's going to be banter in this match.
Yeah, quick little speed boost back to disengage from this one. As you can see, that's the rallies being used on either side. Double available. And that's Brava gets sent straight through, but I'm pretty sure that ended up getting denied. Now you see the self-destruct sent in. That's Sam trying to put in a bit of work here. The Earth Shatter, that is a connection. Jumping, what a play. Good bubble timing from Proper at the end of the day, but the team is down and out. The Shock sent straight back to the respawn queue. In fact, look at this. Goal to stagger the Zarya.
Well, the Zarya is going to have ult charge here. And yeah, fantastic play from Junbin and Sam. Sam, obviously, flex DPS player for the Shock in 2022, but he and Kilo are going to be off-rolling here as they play something completely different. Look at this from Heesan.
Yep.
All the way into the back and forces out the trance, which was built up insanely quickly by Finn, honestly.
And now we see the grab being used, though. There's nothing to try and counteract that. The aggression being punished. Out of sound barrier on top of it. And the damage. Oh, it's more than enough right now. Jumpin even goes for the charge in close quarters. Super made into mincemeat against the walls.
Yeah, he tried to get his shatter off in the midst of that, but it just wasn't enough. Now they're coming down, punishing this D.Va. get out at a bit of a stagger. And here's where we see, is there going to be any disrespect? Are they going to try and bring it to the San Francisco Shock? Undeniably the greatest GOATS team. Although not with this exact roster, but still. Super and Violet, they remember how to play this. Yeah, but they're going to back off, give them a bit of respect, and we have another clash here.
Oh, and the ult being popped, and look at that aggression. The shield is gone, and it breaks immediately. It sets up the Earth Shatter. Once more drop down. In fact, look at that. Charge straight into the backline, and the players, well, they're dropping like flies. It's O2 Blast coming out with advantage after advantage, holding them right at the spawn door. In fact, an ultimate being committed here by Sam.
They're going to try
Quite ideal, but they actually are trying to turn this one.
Yeah, there's no opportunity, though, whatsoever. I mean, Probe is just farming them in the front lines, and now he's been able to overtake Proper in terms of his Zarya ult charge, too. I'm actually really impressed with the way that O2 Blast are playing this. They're luring the Shock in and then punishing them as they get to this choke point. So you can see there, Proper pokes his head in, looking to back up. Super's got to be careful here.
Yeah.
They have another grab.
Get through this choke point, but with the grab laid down, it's so much more difficult for them. Transcendence, though, and spill it across from the rest of the team. That's Probe taken out early into this fight. No Zarya means a lack of damage now to carry this one forward. Still pushed off to the side. Hoi 1 does eventually fall into the end of this one, and there's a fight taking place on two fronts as the battle's taken up onto the high ground. So
Proper used the grab. Where did that one go?
Yeah, I mean, somewhere.
I have no idea. But at the moment, O2 Blast are winning. The Shock just managed to flip the fight over as Violet takes down the final blow into Junbin, and the Shock are going to press their advantage all the way into spawn. And how the tide has turned. Now final fight territory, and O2 Blast, they're looking at only a single sound barrier to be able to get them back into this fight. I don't like the look of this one. They have so much ground to be able to make up, and Super has a shatter.
Yeah, we're seeing some swaps being made as well. Moving over to the ball just to try and touch this one again. Final
Go, Heesan, go!
So we see now is the sound barrier leading it all in. Speed boost on top of it as well. They're just trying to disengage, and now you see the ult's almost online, ready and waiting, just desperate for it, and Proper finally. He builds up the grab, drops it down, and the Shock, overwhelming damage. It's a last-ditch attempt there from O2 Blast. They send in that self-destruct. Not enough to turn it. Overtime tickling down here for them. And that is going to be the first initial round there, going the way of the Shock.
Yellow card as well, though, for Heesang, because you're not allowed to play ball in GOATs.
That was a rule break.
That's not allowed.
He's breaking a rule.
I love that opening round, though. That was a lot of fun. The throwback of being able to see both of these teams just battling it out of GOATs. And honestly, I am so excited to see this Shock team.
Yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to seeing them progress in a comp that's not GOATs. You know, looking forward to seeing a little bit later in the show match when we get the sneak preview, I suppose, of that 5v5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a reminder. Map 3 is going to be 5v5. So if you want to take a look at that, wait your turn.
Yeah, actually, wait and watch the VOD. Wait and watch the VOD, actually. We don't want you skipping ahead. You got to watch all of this, actually.
Okay, they're going to be GOATs again for round 2. Heading over to Nepal Village here. So we're on board with Junbin as he makes his rollout up towards the top.
Yep, both teams find their way there. A little bit of an early positioning advantage here towards O2 Blast. You can see the bubble applied, running them all the way forwards, and that's a bit of a separation. Kilo, obviously off-rolling, not used to the D.Va as much.
Yeah, that's your hit scan DPS player, by the way, playing D.Va, so definitely filling.
I'll let off them, there's mistakes being made. I'll let them off for now. Probably didn't think, a show match? Cool. What do you mean I'm playing D.Va? Wait, what?
No, Kilo's been scrimming D.Va for a long time. A lot of rich history there. So, yeah, O2 Blast take the point, but they don't actually charge very much ult from that. So this is going to be another really neutral engagement.
Oh, look at the pace as well. It's so fast already. The fight's being taken as the Reinhardt's dropping right down, trying to batter the hammers into one another. It's going to be Junbin who pays for it with his life once more. Taken out here. I see Violet on the Lucio. A cursed image.
But one that we've seen a lot of in recent times. So, listen, I'm not ruling it out for next year. That's a lot of damage onto Heesang. Without the Reinhardt to protect him, this is a huge punish.
Yep, and they're trying to separate the players straight away. Heesang is just completely separated from the rest of the team. It's going to be the Transcendence forced out just to try and keep them all topped up and healed. The bubbles also laid down. There needs to be some form of target priority right now because the Shock are running all over O2 Blast. You can see a last-ditch attempt to try and turn around that team fight with the self-destruct. Doesn't come to much fruition there.
And Proper has been farming. I don't want to try and claim I've been keeping track of how many final blows have been his, but it feels like 50-60% of them at least. And he's got his grab online way earlier than Heesang, who got punished in that prior fight.
Shadow almost ready, and you can see Kilo, his D-mech. This is technically going to be a 5v6, but he just about gets into the mech in time. Now, rolling forwards, the shield's down! What? A reactive Shadow. That's a massive one. Super may have just saved his team here, but once more, the ultimates just come rolling one after the other, and look at that!
That just keeps everybody in the same place. Proper and Kilo comboing their ultimates. And O2 Blast, they hit the deck. Sure, they managed to find the pick onto Finn. Maybe Hoi1's Discord Orb and the extra damage can turn the tide of this one, but it's just too little, too late. And the Shock, with their better positioning in that earlier pick, are just bullying Junbin in the corner. Oh, an emote on his body. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
I gotta say, Josh, watching GOATs again, it's a reminder. I need to overclock my brain. I need to overclock my brain. The ultimates being chugged out at one another, and look at the aggression as well. Holding them at the choke point. They don't want to try and allow them any sort of advantage or positioning.
Look how much Proper is ahead of Heesang. They used their grabs at the same time. Of course, Shock won the fight, but there's another grab online. Proper is a monster. This guy is a star player to be watching next year. He's not going to be playing Zarya, but on every single hero he pulls out, he's got the opportunity to be carrying.
Okay. A bit of a disrespect there, but I suppose, you know, the round's ending. Why not just throw out the Earth Shadow? Exactly right, John. I mean, we heard it during the preamble, I guess. You know, I was hearing Avril's voice as he was talking about these rosters and saying, oh, I mean, there's so much potential here. Real super team. I mean, you can kind of start to see it, you know, the makings of it, even though we're watching GOATs.
Yes.
You know, it's a little bit of a, you know, it's a little bit whimsical.
We have, there's a bucket of whimsy thrown into this show match. But if you're a Shock fan and you're, you know, worried about some of the players that have moved on, what are we going to do without Striker? Don't worry. Really? Don't worry.
You got the talent. Don't worry. You've got the talent. I'm telling you right now. I also love that we've got the classic NFL caster setup. We're sat down on the chairs and we're just, yes, probably. I've even followed the unprofessionalism of the NFL. I've got my cable in front of me.
There you go.
I'm not following it properly at all. But without further ado, let's head deeper into this map that we've got between these two teams. Obviously, the Shock leading this one. Currently
2-0.
rounds. Yeah, the 2-0.
Could it have gone really any other way? I feel like, hey, if we're going to take some serious analysis points here, Brian, Junbin has been getting bullied in the neutral. He has been getting worked.
The Discord Orb placement.
In this opening fight, pay attention to that. I mean, Discord Orb is currently on to max, but they need to be trying to keep Junbin alive as much as possible, and he's taken so much damage early on there.
Really important element here, and you look at him, this is the bullying coming out. It's an early bubble being placed, and now no more defensive mitigation, I suppose, from those abilities really just being used up. He gives Proper just free reign. He's running all over them, just beaming them all down. And I mean, Max can just do really whatever he can at the back line. He did manage to get 2 picks for them, and look at that. One actually does take out Proper, but that's an overextension.
That is a huge pick to get. That's going to push Heesang ahead for the next team fight and give you an opportunity. And in fact, it is O2 Blast that end up being able to pick that one up.
Pushing him back again. Not much shield charge left. Super just trying to hold on to it to try and protect his teammates. But again, they're losing so many players left, right, and center. That's going to be a sound barrier committed. Violet thinks this might be turnable, but do they really have the damage available to them?
It actually could be. I mean, look at that. The Shadow comes through as well, trying to put the punish down. The Super presses forward, stunned for a moment, but still kept alive. These supports doing so much work here for the Shock.
A heads-up play here. Graf gets dropped down. Luckily, just about dragging Proper back to the clutches of his team. Able to remove him from the fight once more. And again, that's going to be damage taken, removed. Another Earth Shadow off to the side.
But
a bit of a flank coming out. But again, the Discord Orb super falling so low. He needs that Transcendence just to stay alive. Traded out on either side, keeping the heals going. And look at the aggression. Finn playing right up close to the rest of his team, just trying to at least deal a fatal blow to one of the members of O2 Blast. Enough to try and topple them over and potentially turn this team fight into their hands.
Super does end up getting pressured, and I've been really impressed here with Ho1. He gets another pick, this time onto Finn, putting consistent pressure down from the backline. But the Shock are not ready to give up on this one yet. They are still willing to fight, still willing to rule around Proper. Oh, there goes the grab, though.
Is that a shield bash to disengage?
That one was not the most successful we've seen.
Not the most successful. Still getting that D-mech onto Max, though, so potential for the fight to be won here. That's okay, South the Shock comes through, charge. Oh my god, Super's almost knocking him off the map, and that's the Earth Shatter. Drops it down, but the salvage is there. Ultimate's committed. In fact, okay, O2 Blast want to add a little bit more into the mix. They don't feel confident that they can win this.
Violet with another sound barrier.
Another sound barrier built up.
You're kidding me. This fight isn't turnable. And he goes into the dust. All right, bye-bye. What a whip shot there from Probe. I mean, that one sent him flying. The Shock, I think, are getting a bit bold on these ult investments, but they are still in control of the fight. Here comes another grab. They tried to answer with a sound barrier, but Aiden died in the middle of it. What a kill from Kilo, and I don't know how, but the Shock have actually turned this one around, and they kept control of the point that entire time, all the way back. I mean, I am befuddled. Oh, but they're just about to get back even.
Yep, and that's the spawn camp coming through. Again, pay attention. Those Discord orb placements are perfect. The shield comes up just to block the damage that was coming over from that bomb. Sent straight over the top. They need to disengage here, though. A bit of a risk of an overextension. Still Super has the Earth Shadow, Josh. And he's hiding.
Oh, he's hiding around the corner. Surely O2 Blast are going to expect this.
Oh, no. There's the Earth Shadow. Lays it right around the corner. Bit of an ult combo as well. Why not just toss everything into the mix? Kilo's rewarded with a single pick, as Heesang did not have the bubble to protect.
I think Heesang used both of the bubbles there to try and block the shatter as it came through. And so it comboed perfectly with Kilo's ultimate as he throws that one out. Heesang doesn't have those bubbles anymore. And look at this. It's a disgusting spawn
It's
camp.
chaos, man. Listen, Josh, with my casting, I'm known for my long and varied vocabulary. And I mean, I can safely describe this as pandemonium.
It is pandemonium. It truly is. I'm amazed that the Shock were in control, but Junbin makes one final valiant effort. But it's the Shock.
It is going to be the Shock taking it. I mean, could it have gone any other way? I feel like, you know, Shock making a name for themselves is potentially the greatest, the greatest GOATS team in history.
Yes, there is no argument about that, I don't think.
A short period of history where GOATS was
I mean, it was one out of 4 of the years of Overwatch League and Overwatch 1.
It felt like many years. It felt like many years.
It did, but I agree. That one was a bit unfair on the O2 Blast guys in Contenders, right? These players didn't have the same level of experience playing GOATs as Super did and Violets, and I feel like we need to move things around a little bit. Huh?
Okay, swap around the comps.
Yeah, swap around the comps. I'll go and tell the team.
People.
Yeah, what would you like to hear?
On it.
Like maybe they're
What would I like to hear?
Or what would you like to see? Maybe see the composition where the Shock won in 2019 with some like
we're going to
some Orisa Sigma, some Doom Reaper.
I'm down for that.
That would be pretty cool,
if we could see that again, just to look at the history books to see the most dominant comps that the Shock won, their championship comps.
Oh, that'd be pretty nice. Well, would you look at that?
Wow, it's almost
like
they've been listening to us this entire time.
I know. We've got a direct line of communication, I think. Again, Kilo's going to be playing a crazy off-roll here, but I'm really excited to see Proper playing Doomfist.
Yep.
This is Proper v Heesang. What?
Super's gone. He's off the map.
What was that? The fast rollout from Aiden, and they're bringing the pain immediately.
Yep, straight off the map. We see a replay.
Show me the replay. Look at Super's face.
Super really wanted to say a curse word in Korean then. I could tell what he was about to say, and he realized, oh, this is being recorded.
Max took a ton of damage there, though, and with the point only just now flipping over, the Shock have managed to respond. They're getting in, they're putting pressure on them, they've managed to pick off that Sigma already, and now it's only Heesang really left that could do anything.
What a great punch. Heesang straight against the wall, Super falls so low. Ends up going down here, but with Shock's ultimates online, Finn can just, again, beam them all down there. That Coalescence able to keep the team nice and healthy. They flip the point. Not much progress gained here for O2 Blast.
No, not really at all. I mean, 15% is not much to write home about, but they do have a big ult advantage with their tanks. So I'm looking for Junbin Max to be initiating here, and here it comes.
Yeah, that's a lovely flux straight up into the air. Kilo so low. Is there enough damage to try and capitalize, to at least punish that coming through? It's a counter. Oh my goodness! Cancelled out of it.
What a play.
Kilo again. Listen, we'll forgive you to a degree. You know, you're off-rolling, but still, the fight continues. Supercharger laid down. That's a ton of damage now available to them. That Super just wants to try and make the most of it. Either side, ultimate's committed once more. They need to try and defend that drum that's dropped down, but it is eventually going to fall.
Super's managed to press forwards here. Probe with a ton of damage onto him. Oh my word. Oh
Great
no.
Dude, Aiden is absolutely farming right now.
Yeah, Aiden's got some incredible boobs. There's one as well, surely, right? As Max flew off the side to Proper, who's hunting down the Moira currently. Couldn't quite finish.
Wait, is he off the map? Salvageable? No way.
That is crazy. And Proper goes tumbling down. This opens the door for O2 Blast. They have another ult to be able to work with here.
Death Blossoms. Okay. Well, he's going to be traded out there, and it is going to be the 1-for-1 for either side right now, but with the Coalescence on top, that's hole one. He's going to be able to use that. A major advantage for them as the heals press them forwards to try and at least win out this round. Damage still being done.
Punched in the face.
Yeah, tried to go for a little punch there right into Super. Taken out once more. So the point flips over.
Yeah, it's not a fantastic position to be in, but here's another Gravitic Flux. The Rock not used from Kilo to try and block that one. And here's Finn's POV as both of the support ultimates are used for the shock.
Cancelled out though, that Rock. The accretion coming up huge. Now we see it, the Flux from Kilo. Wants to lay it right down. Hopefully the damage is done for them to try and turn this fight, but it's all going away right now of O2 Blast.
They are looking great. All of the ultimates are finding major value, and their ult cycling has been excellent too. The Shock haven't really found those amazing moments they did on map 1 to throw in an ult and turn things in their favor. This looks like it should be very easily sealed up here for O2 Blast, despite the fact they're about 20% behind. They have double support ultimate coming into the next fight. Unless Proper can find the pick, or Aiden gets punished.
The Rock just about missed. Aiden almost getting punished for that one, but now it's given them a bit of breathing room. The Shock are moving forwards, but look at that, the proactivity. The ultimates are already committed right in the choke point. O2 Blast do not want to let them through, and with the sound barrier on top, it's layered forwards. It gives them the defensive aggression, if you will, to try and push forwards and play into that choke point. And the Shockers are going straight back to the spawn room once more. And that percentage, Josh, there was a difference a couple of seconds ago, but no more.
Final fight territory and double tank ultimates here for O2 Blast as they put the pain down. Violet just gets whacked into the floor, and Shock, I mean, maybe they need to stick to goats. Oof, what a response from O2 Blast starting things out. These youngsters from Contenders have still got it.
They certainly do. Just go for a quick boop off the map.
Aiden has been so good.
He truly has. Yep, Sam not going to be getting any value with that one. So many environmental kills from Aiden in that one round. I mean, the change up in potential, in the pace as well, between what we've seen of both these teams as well. It seems like O2 Blast, yeah, they needed it. The change in comps,
yeah,
you know, bringing a pain to them. But the ult rotations, I think, was just fantastic there.
Yeah, it was really good. I think also they were benefited by the fact that they weren't forced into the Rhine v Rhine against Super.
Yes,
you know, Jumpin wasn't just getting run over right from the beginning. They had the ability to play the ult game a little bit more, which seemed to favor them. My attention is going to be on Proper again. Proper and Sam to be able to find those positions. If you cast your mind back to Reaper Doom when we were watching it in the 2019 playoffs, a lot of it was about the Reapers getting these big flanks. Like middle of the fight, they'd go on a bit of a flank.
Somewhere where they can catch support or
get in behind, or even like pressure a tank from behind, find a Sigma.
Around the shields.
Exactly. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to in the next one. I mean, not looking as much towards like Kilo, for example, who's playing mega off-roll.
I tell you, man, as well. I mean, we're sitting down, I'm getting comfortable, and my spine is being curved like a shrimp. I'm like, every time it comes back to us on camera, I have to be conscious of it. I'm like hunched over.
Yeah, well, that's what an off-season will do to you.
Gollum-looking ass.
Are you ready for the content drought to be over, people? This is what the content drought being over looks like. All right, again, paying attention here to Proper and Sam to see whether they can set up that advantage for their team.
Up to the top. Seismic Slam just to try and combo it.
Nice idea.
Yeah, Proper does get a bit of damage done here. Ooh, the accretion off to the side. I think that was to try and cancel Kilo when he was sucking up all that damage. Again, another engagement comes through, but you have to be careful.
Oh, the slam.
Oh, my word.
There was so much damage, so much CC done there. Fantastic play by Heesang. Great timing. And although it's Junbin finishing people off, that was all on that Doomfist engagement. Yeah, I'd really like to see Sam try and go for some of those flanks. Obviously, hey, I'm not going to be too critical. This is a show match, and they haven't been playing this meta forever. Also, they've been practicing 5v5.
Yeah, it's 6v6.
Exactly. This isn't even the game that they're going to be playing. But, I mean, if you do think back to that period of time, Reaper flanks, that's what you need to be going for, Sam.
Okay, that's going to be the Coalescence traded from either side, but I think that was the Gravitic Flux.
Dodge
At least giving him an edge. Nice little dodge there. The Rock's still not enough, though. O2 Blast, I mean, more than enough damage with the tank ultimates to supplement that team fight going their way.
Yeah, these tank ultimates have just been amazing from O2 Blast. They've been able to get so many of them online. Oh, and Proper goes down again.
Maybe?
This spawn camping is bold.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to punish the Shock. That Rock straight off the edge. Does he have the cooldowns? I don't think so. It's going to be player sent down. Meteor Strike now going to be used, though, just to try and salvage it. He sang back in the fight. The Shock, though, they've got the players nearby. This is Proper just trying to turn things around, and he does get that pick off. Punch straight up into their faces. That's a supercharger now dropped right round the corner. The Shock are finding it so difficult to finally gain some space, but they are at least going to get out of their spawn room.
And this space is all they need. Use the ult to get around the corner, place down your own supercharger, and suddenly you have overwhelming damage advantage for when those sound barriers drop. Really nice usage. Unfortunately...
Point gets slipped.
Yeah, where's this gravitic flux coming from as well? Max came through the roof.
What? Somehow Kilo brings himself down. I don't know how that happened, but it was in the kill feed, so I'll trust it. And now the shield dropped down. Super just trying to salvage this operation for the rest of his team. Ultimate's committed. O2 Blast. Well, they want to try and regain this team fight, regain control of the point as well, because the Shock, whilst currently in control, the team fight, it's so scrappy and back and forth between them. They need some sort of advantage just to at least get a clean break going.
And that might have been the edge, except for Super, Proper, Sam. They're all dropping. It was arguably an overextension there, going for Junbin. And I think this is going to give the point back over here to O2 Blast. They're in. All they need to do is finish off these last couple of players, including Finn. And as he drops, O2 Blast are going to continue ticking this one up. The Shock have an opportunity, though, to respond. Super getting close to the supercharger.
Trying to go fast. They've got the ultimates. Why not? We see the meteor strike. It pulls them all together in the back, but not quite.
He's so weak.
So weak. 20 HP, but he gets the mega health back. Can he survive it, though? Charges the punch, bait, and switch right round the corner. That's Probe. Just making sure that those cooldowns are used so we can secure that kill. And while all that was going on, well, there was another team fight active and happening right here, right now. O2 Blast looking like they're large and in charge. That's going to be 96% and counting. Will they be able, a player to touch this one? It looks like Finn is just able to get that overtime going.
Yep, Super's going to move over to the ball in a desperate attempt to keep this one alive, but O2 Blast has the supercharger online, and frankly, they played the ult game there to perfection. Yeah. I love that. I really did. You've got to get also, all three maps.
I hate to do this as well when we're on camera, but I keep having to drink out of my comically large flask.
Comically large.
Or on camera, yeah.
Delicious water. Ah, man. It's so cool to see O2 Blast getting that map as well. A throwback comp again.
Although, I believe there will be one more round being played. So I think they're playing
Scrim rules. Yeah. Scrim rules.
Oh, actually, maybe there's 20 more rounds. Who knows? Does it just keep going forever?
It could just keep going forever.
Is this purgatory? I don't think so. I think this is heaven because we're watching two championship teams.
Exactly.
There you go. And we're sponsored by AMPM.
There you go. You still got it, Brent. You still got the chillin'. I appreciate that. That's all you need. All right, well, let's fire things back into the next round, and we'll see what we've got coming up.
It's another round.
It is another round.
I thought it would be another round.
Scrim rules. That makes sense.
I thought it would be.
Wait a second. What are the Shock pulling out here?
Swapping some stuff up. Okay.
Genji?
Ooh, no, I'm going to play the Cassidy. No, I'm going to play the Reaper.
No, okay. Just gentleman's agreement, sticking to this composition.
Yep.
I don't mind it. I like to see it. Let's see if Shock can bring the comeback.
It's a clash straight away. You see Fortify's being traded by Ivor Tanks. Eurus is just trying to stay alive in this one, and of course those pulls vitally important to try and set up the abilities and set their team up for success with Proper falling. Everybody else just topples like dominoes. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. And yeah, starting to get a feel for what O2 Blast are really comfortable playing here.
Absolutely. And I think it's Junbin and Max primarily.
Yes.
The way that they're rotating cooldowns and taking space and getting to the fight a lot earlier is just giving them such an advantage. Here's Hoi with a really early coalescence. They're trying to put the punish on Shock in their spawn room. It's so aggro from O2, but these kind of fights build up the tank ultimates for the next engagement. Look at the difference there in terms of the ult economy. Junbin and Max 15% away from 2 fight-winning ultimates, whereas Super and Kilo are still double the distance from their ults.
Making sure you can snowball your advantages. Holding at the choke point, you can see that's the Gravitic Flux. Full waddle forwards there. Super going to be impervious to it just from the Fortify, but not impervious from the damage that was coming his way. And the Shock are getting shut out at the choke point. O2 Blast just handing it to him.
Incredibly good coordination considering they're not going to be scrimming these kind of comps regularly. They got the halt into the Gravitic Flux and then comboed it with a Meteor Strike afterwards to ensure that they had the kill onto Kilo. But now the tank ultimate advantage way in favor of the Shock.
Oh my word. I mean, a bit of an overload there. The ultimate's just being dished out. The Shock want to commit a ton to the fight. I mean,
everyone press Q.
Sound Barrier, Supercharger, Death Blossom.
Yeah.
Gravitic Flux somewhere in the midst of all of that, but it's enough for them to turn the team fight.
On the other hand, though, Bren, it wasn't too much of an over-investment because they also got the sound barrier and the supercharger out of O2. So it's not like they themselves can come back in with a huge barrel of ultimates.
Yeah.
The coalescence, of course, is going to be really important, though. Being able to kite away from that would be a good idea, but they're trying to fight them straight on.
It's so brawly right now. An O2 Blast. Well, that's a 2-pick advantage for them. A couple of players trying to salvage it from the shock as well as they're diving into the backline, but O2 Blast, they come back, they bite back almost immediately.
Yeah, and there was no opportunity there. I mean, like I was saying, you either want to kite that coalescence or go in and cancel it with a punch or with an accretion. But Hoy just got max value out of the coal. And here we go again. More O2 Blast just spawn camping.
Oh my. It's a pulse.
It's so good.
Honestly, the synergy between the tank players, that's what I mean. I mean, the shock at a disadvantage. Kilo doesn't play off tank. He's not probably not going to be playing off tank.
That is very true, and O2 Blast are using 2 actual tank players.
Which is why I think you're seeing this. I mean, it's a difference in terms of that coordination. Obviously, when we move to 5v5, not
what a
really
dodge
the case for the shock, but yeah, dodging off to the side here. Finn wants to try and lead his team. Enough heals coming through off the back of that ultimate committed. Oh, pulling to the back there. No damage really being done too much. Oh, the coordination! Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
Oh, that was nasty. A super blossom. Junbin pops down the supercharger. The Death Blossom comes out. And oh my word, that was sickening.
That is the map.
That's the map.
I gotta say, Josh, I'm starting to see the influence creep in.
Yeah.
Of I think these teams scrimming on 5v5.
Okay.
Because
sell me on your theory.
So we already know that 5v5. Listen, the rumors, the hints. I don't want to listen. We're going to be watching a little bit later. Our first look reminder as well of the shock roster playing in that 5v5 environment. But
yes,
it is a lot more brawly. It's a lot fast.
Sure.
A lot more fast paced in terms of the tempo that's being taken.
Yep.
And I think it has bled into the play a little bit with both these teams.
In terms of how aggressive they're being,
there
going
was
forward to
very
the
little
spawn
breaks.
doors. Yeah.
Very little breaks in the gameplay that we've been seeing.
Yeah.
If you go back, if you roll back the footage into the history, into the annals of time, and look at those comps being played,
they were quite, well, Goats was fast-paced.
Goats was fast-paced.
The Reaper Doom was a lot slower.
There were more breaks. There were more breaks.
Then again, a lot of Reaper Doomfist was not particularly played with as much like Lucio Speed Boost straight in the front line, kind of. Yeah. You know, Lucio Moira
a bit more
is
slower regarding that. Yeah, Lucio Moira,
for
exactly.
Sure.
That backline is a lot more higher tempo.
But viewers, are you ready for the meat and potatoes?
Here it is.
Because here on Blizzard World, this is your first look at the San Francisco Shock playing in that 5v5 environment. Sam's gone over to the bench. We've got Proper and Kilo on the DPS line. Super picking up the tank. Finn and Violet on support. This is a nasty 5-man squad.
And here's what everybody was wondering, and for the tanks as well, numerous changes that we're going to be trying to keep you updated on as well that's happened across the board to all of these roles. You can see Super flexing over to the Zarya, as you mentioned, Josh, and you're going to start to see that brawliness, I think, that was bleeding through in the prior maps. You're going to see where it's coming from when these teams are scrimming in 5v5 in this kind of play.
That's a big punish.
Yeah, Kilo ends up falling there into this fight, and it's going to give them a slight advantage to work off of, but it's a disengage, splitting up all over the place.
And Heesang has gone down. Now Super moves his way forwards. He has 2 bubbles to be able to work with, right? In this workshop mode, which is aiming to emulate Overwatch 2, he's got a bubble for himself and a bubble for his teammate, or he can use 2 for himself, 2 for his teammate. So keep track of that throughout the team fight.
Yeah, Max on the D.Va right now, just trying to eat up as much damage as possible. Wants to try and salvage it as the point. Almost getting locked up here by the shock. 93% in counting for them with that D-Mech. Could be turnable. The potential is there, but now with the Nano Boost online, well, it's layered right on top of Matthew Delisi. He's able to make short work of any remaining players that might just be nearby. Quick little pulse bomb right onto the side. That's Finn falling, but the point's still going away off the shock.
Yep, there you go. Good opening team fight for the Shock. Super staying alive the entire time despite having a Discord orb. And let's take a look at this replay.
Nice bubble. Oh, come on! Ah!
Nice bubble.
Nice bubble. Okay.
So now you've got the Zarya mirror. Max moving over to replicate that on the other side, but Super is massively ahead in terms of his ult charge. Still, Discord orb from Ho1 being focused onto Super repeatedly.
Push back off the high ground. This high ground control is vitally important all the time. Post bomb off to the side. It connects, but the bubbles were there. Lay it down. That's going to be eating up a ton of that damage. And Max keeping his team healthy. Now moving over off to the side. That's Super. Okay. Quick little right click into the punch. Still in a bit of trouble now.
He has an ult.
Oh, he's pushing forwards and he's pushing the advantage. That is damage being done. Does still have this grab holding it in his back pocket. Doesn't seem like it's necessary for them just yet.
Probe has been putting out a ton of big damage headshots, but he hasn't actually been able to find those finishing blows that are necessary if you want to commit time to the Widowmaker, I think. And there's a lot of theory crafting about how good Widow would be in an environment like this, but his team's just getting pushed back as a result of it. And Proper is kind of manhandling Heesang.
It's pretty difficult, I think, to set up even as the Widowmaker player. We see the grab being committed, though. That's Max caught alone in it. What a Bionade! O1 ended up committing that. Transcendence just to try and salvage it once more, try and heal up his teammate, but not available, not able to get through. A Death Blossom, potentially enough to end this team fight and push it forwards just over the line. Nice little seep dart into the back still. Coordination, well, don't really quite need it as well. The Bionade is enough to clean that one forwards. And
yeah, amazing play by Finn. The Bionade is fantastic to neutralize the Transcendence, but also he's been focusing his Nano Boost onto Super, not only offensively, but also defensively. And oh, that's just bullying.
That's brutal.
Oh, that's just bullying proper.
That is brutal. Catching the forward spawns.
But now Max has a significant ult advantage with his Graviton Surge. Kilo
off to the side. Oh my
goodness.
Dealt tap straight to the cranium. Yep.
Easily.
One shot at a Hellfire shotgun. That's enough.
And Probe has moved over to Cassidy here, so taking a look at the Cowboy with a brand new name.
Big Bionade off to the side. Super's going to have to back away from that one.
Super just used both of his bubbles as well, which I think opens up an opportunity for O2 Blast to move forwards.
Oh my word. Kilo brought down, slept up onto the ground, and the Cassidy shot well. Probe makes quick work of it. And it looks like the Shock, well, they had a lot of momentum at the beginning of this map. It's being slowly whittled away, though, now. That big time bank, it was 4 minutes. It's time to drift down a bit now as O2 Blast finally find their footing. Fantastic
punish there, yeah. Really keeping track of Super's double bubbles, and then a Bionade came down that gave O2 Blast the advantage. Good play from O1, and a nice compositional swap. They still have Pulse Bomb and that Graviton Surge to make something happen here, as Proper just, oh my word, he just dunked on Probe.
That's an unbelievable stick, and he's managed to find that one pick advantage, but it's just traded 1-for-1. Shock ended up losing a player just a little bit earlier into this fight. And again, both teams just trying to find flanks, trying to find those advantages, but the big ultimates are now online, and Maxwell, he's let it unleashed, Pulse Bomb into it. It's a classic age-old combo. You might be seeing that time and time again as well when we get round to Overwatch 2 being played on the big stage. Now the rally coming through, and Brigitte, a hero with a tremendous amount of changes in this workshop mode. She's been really amplified in terms of the damage output she's able to give, and look at that dash back. It's like teleported back. That was violent.
Twice the range. It is absurd. But actually, O2 Blast are in a bit of a rough position here. Proper's deep in the backlines. If they can punish him, that would be amazing. No recall available whatsoever. They need Super to take some space forwards, and he does. He lands the grab. Bubble comes down, isolates Max, and Finn finishes him off with that Bionade.
And the amount of damage that's coming through, man. It feels so difficult to survive. The support's under constant pressure. You can see O1 just caught into the corner.
And they do have that buff, right? The supports are playing with 10 HP per second regen, but you have to have 3 seconds of taking no damage.
Yeah.
And these fights are just going on and on.
And this could be it. The final moment they were looking for now, as they're looking to try and push it all the way to the end.
Now
Blizzard World, nice little dodge there off the flash. And now we see it. The Death Blossom, it gets 2. Nice little combo there with the Nano Boost layered on top of it. And the Shock, well, they're just cleaning up whatever stragglers they can find, as the cart will get pushed in 2 minutes in their time bank.
I'm going to be honest with you, Brent. I wasn't expecting us to see Zarya very much.
I feel like we're moving into at least the early look at this workshop mode. It's not an exact look at Overwatch 2, but it feels like definitely prioritizing tanks with incredible damage output is the name of the game, to try and at least capitalize on some of the damage that's being done. I don't know. I mean,
it's interesting, though, that we haven't actually seen a dive comp here at any point. We started out with O2 Blast playing the Diva, but they were playing Tracer and a Widow, so they didn't really have that ability to, you know, double dive with their DPS. And this, okay, we're getting Super playing main tank Reinhardt on 5v5.
Yeah.
I theoretically just think that sounds like hell on earth, because you're going to get flanked from all angles, but
surely you're going to get swarmed.
But maybe it doesn't work like that. Maybe all of the, you know, the help that the tanks have in this redesign allows Ryan to be playable.
Yeah, we'll certainly find out. They are on the defense side here, but it's not like you have to have a tank to try and back you up. You obviously have been buffed in that capacity. All the tanks have across the board. We'll see what he can do. 2 Fire Strike charges, of course, as well. That's what he's got in his back pocket, but already they've lost Finn.
Yeah, and that's all of Super's healing, and he just gets overwhelmed. I mean, a bit of a rough beginning, but I don't think that's due to the... Oh my word, Proper just dunked on Heesang again. He just gave him the Tracer diff.
Dude, this is such a good preview of what might be to come. If you're a Shock fan and you're just watching Proper absolutely tear people's heads off.
Yeah. But what I was saying was, the Super Reinhardt there was kind of let down by the fact that his main supportive element got picked so early on. There's no way you're going to keep the Rhino alive without an Ana.
Well, off to the side, Sleep Dart comes through, potential for a charge, off to it. No, the whip shot, that's going to be disrupting it, so sent straight into the wall. Still swinging away. Look at the damage as well. Not afraid to just go toe-to-toe with anybody who's facing him, and look at that. That's a nano boost applied to Max. He almost got brought down. He was so low. I think that was a Bionade denying it, but the counter nano. Super runs over them. No speed boost in play, of course, but enough damage being done with the team supporting him, backing him up.
Let's take a look at that replay, though. I want to see that from Super's POV. Already some really good coordination between Super and Finn in terms of like ult timings, that kind of stuff. Kilo's going to pick up the Widowmaker here as they're defending from really good high ground positions.
Now Shock have managed to get themselves a lovely hold here with Proper getting that pick as well into Heesang.
Again!
Yeah, that is exactly what you need, and it means that the Shock, well, they want to press the advantage. Still, they've managed to force on that one ult. That's going to be the rally. It was dragged out of Aiden, but now the shatter. 2 players down. And everybody, you're going to have to rewire your brains. 1 less player means that sometimes those 2-man shatters are much more impressive than I think we've been led to believe over these years.
Absolutely, yeah. Nice try by Max popping that Zarya bubble for himself to avoid being shattered, but it just wasn't enough. He threw in the ultimate there as well, so he's going to swap over to the D.Va. That gives them... it's still not really a dive comp. It doesn't feel like it with the Reaper being added, but it's going to give them a bit more ability to put pressure onto Kilo in these high ground positions and not just leave the Widowmaker free farming. Although I've got to say, that doesn't feel like the biggest problem right now that O2 Blast are dealing with. It's the way that Super is being kept alive by Finn.
Oh, yeah.
I say that just as... Okay, I say the Widowmaker isn't the biggest problem as Kilo rips 2 heads off, so maybe it was.
Yeah. And you're starting to see it, man. The DPS players, they have a bit more agency with this workshop mode. It's
Are you telling me Overwatch is an FPS game again?
I think it might be an FPS game again. I
No
think we
way.
might be getting treated to an FPS game again. Whether you love it or hate it, that's what we're going to be getting. I mean, the DPS players are popping off. Post-bomb off to the side. Violet, too much pressure on him. He will fall, and that's no transcendence now for this fight. But once again, nano boost onto Super, swinging through them.
Who does he go for?
A pick. That is a fantastic defense matrix eat there from Max.
And also, Aiden, he tried to run down, but he just shield bashes away.
They've rotated around. They've gone the old loop-to-loop. Super has been completely disjointed from the rest of his team. And all eyes, I think, as well onto Kilo to see if he can manage at least to get a few more picks, potentially salvage it, but unlikely. It is going to be the reset here. So finally, O2 Blast get through that choke point.
And the biggest difference there is that without a Zarya on the other side, the D.Va and the Brig can just fly away from Super. He got no value out of that offensive ultimate. So I feel like the DPS diff is very firmly going in favor of the Shock, though. Kilo just recently got the kill on Probe. Just trying to bully Max a little bit as the Discord Orb goes onto him. And hello, hello. Actually, that is a great response from Probe, giving his team the advantage.
And the heals just couldn't come through there. Did you notice that, actually? Straight into the backline. That's Max eating up all the shots. Violet couldn't be healed when that backline was just being approached in that manner.
Really nice play there. Brig is much more of kind of an offensive disruptor kind of healer.
Yeah.
You're seeing Aiden be able to get up in people's faces, do a bit of damage, interrupt. The bash now does 50 damage in this workshop mode and then just get out.
Shields as well, I believe.
Here comes the initiation. That might force out an ult from Violet.
It does.
Yes, he got caught.
Transcendence dropped down, but he sang well. That's a great pulse bomb into the back with Finn removed again. No more heals. No more Bionades to try and turn these team fights.
Whoa,
deep charge.
He's
into the back.
Tokyo drifted.
He's actually so agile.
But now he's stuck there. He's asleep.
Yep. Well, that's less than ideal. Less than ideal. That's okay though.
You know what's mad here too? Shocker playing double flex support, and Finn just kind of has to fend for himself. the Brig can peel over with O2 Blast, but they're not getting that offensive pressure with the Discord Orb and the just damage coming out from the backline. But I am really intrigued as to how teams approach double flex support in Overwatch 2. There really isn't like that off-tank to peel for you anymore if you're Finn. That's why he's dying all the time to Heesang.
Yeah, and sometimes it feels like you're playing against a tank like Max right now on the D.Va. The boosters, the mobility, the damage as well. I mean, you can really coordinate with a lot of the set pieces. The supports are having a tough time just trying to stay alive here, and with the high ground control available to them, Probe in fact moved over to the Hanzo while all this was going on.
While Super moved over to Zarya.
Yeah. Bubble laid down. Kilo wants to see if he can get a pick. He is very low. Has to use the Wraith Form to disengage. They'd love a D-Mech there onto Max just to set them forwards, but it seems that it's, again, a struggle to get that foothold. In fact, how on earth? The post-bomb kill onto Proper. He's playing Tracer, man.
That is mad. And Probe with a lovely headshot as well to take down Kilo and punish him as he had the nano boost equipped. This is going to be a lightning fast cap for O2 Blast. Sure, not quite as quick as the Shock had set themselves, but a ton of time looking like there's going to be on the point.
Yeah, great job being able to make a bit of a comeback and mount it as well after being shoved in that choke point. But can they try and convert it? Can they get it all the way to the finish line here?
Another big bio.
It was a big bio nade. Bit of purging going on there with the shield. Still super so low, and the heals just can't come through in time. Post bomb off to the side. Proper. Well, he tried his best with the ultimate committed, but not enough. O2 Blast, all the positioning in the wall as well to seal that one in.
And what's that? A minute versus 2 minutes, roughly? Something like that?
Yeah, I think that was a minute versus 2 minutes towards the end.
That's
anyone's game in this 5v5.
Yeah, if you can find an individual pick, like a lot of the time, it's been Heesang looking for the pick onto Finn. And if Heesang can find that pick, okay, now O2 Blast have the advantage. The other way around, feels like Shock are trying to play for big value from the backline and not necessarily picking the O2 Blast supports, but just working up and like out-damaging them, getting big ults online, and having Super be the player with big impact at the front.
Yeah, in theory, you know, the Zenyatta pick, it should work out quite well if you're up against the Zarya mirror. You know, you have that big defensive ultimate to help against the big offensive ultimate, the Grav.
Oh, Aiden just blasted Kilo with a long shot there.
Okay, straight down.
Great opening play.
Yeah.
That one helps playing from the high ground. Yeah, it's kind of like Heesang is going for the Shock backline and Proper's trying to stop him. That's what we've seen so far on Blizzard World.
There's push and pull happening. Well, not much time left now. Down to 30 seconds. Probe on the Cassidy.
And there will be no ults here.
Yeah. Has to hammer the shots home.
How do you get this advantage? It just has to be Heesang.
It has to be a pick, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's Finn. I think it's all about keeping Finn alive, and Violet is going to be able to peel now that he's back on the Brig.
Ooh, it's going to be the half pack grabbed up. Proper. He's so low. Has to dodge and weave up to the high ground.
Great move.
Big Bionade onto Violet into the backline, but is there anyone who can try and capitalize off of that? It could have been a massive advantage for them, but still, the Shock holds strong.
And that's the Tracer diff again.
Yeah, Tracer diff materializing in front of our very eyes, and you can see it. The team fighter just topples. That one singular pick is all they need.
Yeah, it's an interesting look for them, right? Yeah. Like the whole of Overwatch 2 being revolved in so much around those picks. But with 30 seconds left, when you're fighting into an Ana Brig backline, how do you find the advantage there?
It's definitely reminiscent in terms of how scrappy it is and how much the teams are relying on those big ult combos or a DPS player popping off.
Well, this could be the final round in the SF Shock and O2 Blast Showmatch presented by AMPM. So let's take a look. Super's on the Hog.
Yep, Super on the Hog. I mean, this is a classic pick. Everybody remembers it. The Super Hog that was pulled out during the playoffs.
Now, the Hog just benefits from all of these passive buffs to the tanks in the workshop.
Extra 100 health, extra healing received as well. So it's essentially he has
less of an ult sponge, 25% less ult sponging.
Yeah. All layered on top of that. Now, Proper's actually sleeping on the job at the back, but Heesang did 4, so it's going to be the 1-for-1 trade. Tracer players down. Could be anyone's game, but it's the O2 Blast. They need to try and hold this on. Only a single tick is what they need, and the hooks. You can see the damage just coming through from them. Even the bubble just can't save you theirs. It's one after the other, and the San Francisco Shock, well, easy pickings for them. That's going to be the map win for them. And that is going to be our show match here. The San Francisco Shock versus O2 Blast for our show match presented by AMPM. I really enjoyed that, Josh.
That was great.
That was quite a pleasure, man. Honestly, it was. I love it. The look back as well when we looked at the GOATs, looking at these old compositions that we played.
And then 5v5.
And the 5v5 just puts a lovely cap onto things as well. But
it definitely does.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I mean, this was lovely to jump back into the casting seat as well. We
and tell you what, as well,
this setup.
It's a beautiful little appetizer for the season to come for any Shock fans. Taking a look at those 3 players that you now have from O2 Blast against their former team. Both organizations should be extremely proud of what they've achieved recently, but if you're looking at a team for next year, Shock look like they are trying to win another championship.
They really do. They made all the right adjustments. And with that, we're going to put a close to this show match. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for joining us. And we will see you hopefully very soon. See you. I don't know what I'm doing with this outro.